Hi guys, we're back. So, yeah.
These are topics.
What was I gonna... Yeah. And then... So I made a list, like, back in the day. Nah, I wouldn't say back in the day. I would say, like, last month. But if we were ever, like, in a filibuster where we couldn't decide, I was just gonna go random and start like the conversation like a icebreaker. So the first one is, everybody has Netflix and everybody has seen a show in 2016 that came out in March 23rd.
We're gonna talk about 13 Reasons Why. That show is like over, no?
Yeah, but I'm just gonna talk about it. So
I didn't watch it.
Finish it?
Well, I didn't. I watched the first season. That was about it.
So
I don't remember.
Here was the my first impression of 13 Reasons Why. So, I went to my grandma's house one time, and my tío had an iPad, and I went to Netflix, and I didn't have Netflix at the time. I want to say it came out in like May 1st or something, and I saw it on a Sunday, and I didn't know what it was. I never saw the trailer. I only saw the book, which came out like way before the show, obviously. And my first impression of 13 Reasons Why was crazy, because I saw the first episode, and because I didn't know what else to watch, and it was so crazy, because on that, I didn't even know if I was gonna like it, honestly, pero I saw the first episode, and in that same day, I finished episode 1 through 7, which was so crazy. And then I went home, and then there was gonna be 6 more episodes after, and I hated that shit, because when I went back to school the next day, keep in mind, I only finished till episode 7, and that's the whole thing that everybody talked about at school. Like, it pissed me so off, because I hate people that ruin shit. I hate people that are like, oh, have you seen this part? Oh, he dies. And I'm like, bitch, why do you tell me this? Like, I didn't even know Hannah died. Honestly, I was that stupid, because I didn't, like, get it, because I'm a little slow, you know? So, everybody was talking about it at school, and I got so pissed off, and I tried, like, hiding the spoilers, and I finally finished it like 2 weeks after, or everybody was like already over it, and then the second season came out, third season came out, and it went on from there. But I want to say my first impression of 13 Reasons Why was, I think it was mostly interesting because it talked about like
the
mental health.
First season was good. Every season after that,
yeah,
trash.
A lot of people are gonna hate me, but Euphoria,
I loved Euphoria,
was stupid. No. The second season. For me, honestly,
yeah.
the only season I loved it was because as you get older, teenagers start to develop like PTSD, mental health issues like depression, anxiety, stress disorder, overthinking, and a lot more other stuff. And I loved Euphoria because of that.
It brought a whole nother sense of like a whole bunch of issues that people weren't aware of, and like a bunch of situations that are like super common that nobody ever talks about, especially like in high school students or in college students, and everybody thinks like they just make up all this shit, and it's like it's okay for people to go through shit. Like, no, it's not. And Euphoria kind of brought like a different level to it, like a different level of intensity and awareness, to a point where people were like really related to the show, and it brought a whole bunch of communities together that we didn't even know we had. And I feel like it brought up a lot more male issues for sure.
Yeah. Guys' mental health is like so overlooked on. They're like, guys only go to the gym or just drive or just eat and get fat. And actually, males are high in getting obesity because so many people are harsh on that, especially in like the Hispanic community, because a lot of people, like, especially the parents, obviously, like, they can like say shit that their kids won't, though, or they think that their kids won't like actually like consider to be like hurtful. But honestly, like, when it's the end of the day, everybody's going to do the same thing all over again, and you're in your room alone, you just like break down and start it all over again, and that creates like a sense of like abandonment and mental health issues that are like so sad that they have to with it alone, which is super
But it's
crazy.
It's a really common thing in the Hispanic
Like now,
community
it's crazy.
to be very critical and judgmental on somebody's weight. And mental health in general is not a thing. It is not a thing in the Mexican community.
So
mental health is not a thing.
Like
Depression is not a thing in the mental community. In the Hispanic community, sorry.
Yeah, they're just like...
In general, like, it doesn't exist. Like, it's something that you have to get over because it's life and that's it. That's the end of the story. Get over it, move on, and you'll be fine. That we have nothing to be sad for. We are very ungrateful. That's literally how it's viewed, as ungrateful. You're ungrateful for the life that you have. That's what it's looked as. Like, that you're not grateful for the things that you have, that we have nothing to be sad about, we have nothing to be depressed about. Like, if it's not a real issue and it's not their concern.
Like,
the Hispanic community in general, it's like once you turn 18, nobody really gives a shit about you.
Like, once they see you, like, doing good, being successful, which is very... me personally, I get very proud of people, like, that step up and say, like, I did this shit for me and me alone, because I'm not gonna see you...
But we're like that because they weren't like that with us. So we changed based upon what we didn't get growing up. Like, you didn't hear, I'm proud of you. We didn't hear, I'm proud of you. Never. Growing up,
I graduated and I still didn't hear that.
I graduated late, and I still didn't get shit.
I didn't get shit either.
I was like, honestly, yeah.
Literally, it's so sad.
Like, they see it as things that you have to do. They don't see it as accomplishments or anything that, like, you succeeded. Like, no.
Like,
it's just like a thing you had to do and had to finish and had to complete. That's it.
Like,
And you have to do it for you, and you have to be proud of yourself because nobody else is going to be proud of it.
That's honestly literally pretty sad. Like, I did a speech.
It is.
I was in Com 101, and that was the best class, I want to say, that I ever took, because it was a year-long class. And basically what Com 101 is, it's a speech therapy class, which, like, teaches you to be confident in yourself when you're to get over public speaking. And for me, public speaking is like, okay, I can talk to a group of people without getting nervous. At first I will, but I feel like that's where overthinking comes in, because it's like you start shaking and you start getting nervous, you kind of faint a little bit, and you get super uncomfortable in the room when it's basically literally like 5 people. Literally a room of 5 people you can't even talk about. But the thing about that class is I did like 4 speeches in that. And one of those speeches is how high school students are overlooked on, or something like that. But that was the best speech I've ever given, and I won in the entire section of Buena Park. I think the district or whatever, I don't remember. But they said that they liked the speech and they wanted to publish in the newspaper, so I got it published in the newspaper. And that was it. But the thing is, like, huh?
You should pop up a picture of this.
I can't find it, but it was in the newspaper. I know for the fact it was in the newspaper.
It has to be somewhere.
But I love that speech very much because it's true. Like, high school students are so overlooked on, and some parents don't know the stress that they're into, because it's not just like going to school, sending your kid to school and making sure like they get the best grades, the best education, and the support that they need, but sadly some don't even get that. Like some don't even have parents, which is pretty sad because they don't have no support system. So that gets in their brain like, oh, nobody's gonna be proud of me, no one's gonna be mad at me, so why should I do anything? And I had 2 foster friends that one of them I sadly passed away, and then the other one went to New York, and I overheard him saying that his parents were like drug addicts, and he was in the foster system since he was 9. And one of his friends told him that what are you gonna like do after graduation? And he was like, honestly, I'm just gonna move to New York and go from there. And I can't process that like that. Like, you guys have heard Jasmine saying like, well, I can't picture myself with like a baby, or like I can't picture myself like getting married yet. I can't picture myself not having anybody. Like, he has no cousins, no grandparents, no anything. And when he said that, I wanted to break down so hard because that's sad. Like, coming home and seeing nobody there, like no one saying like just a simple "how's your day?" He doesn't get that. He literally has to like fill it out. If you guys are in the foster care system, which I doubt that any of you are, but if you are, you know how like it works. He was like in a group home and whatever, and that was pretty sad. But yeah, that's high school students go through some hard shit. Like, I have seen some crazy ass stuff that is pretty crazy, because high school students have like a life of their own. Like, parents don't see them struggling when they're at their lowest, and they don't see them when they're going through stuff, or when they're fighting their own struggles and have to overcome that because they have a project to do, or they have something of a high expectations of their parents, like, oh, he's a honor roll AP student that gets good grades all the time, but the parents don't know like the hard work that goes into that.
Especially if you have like parents that didn't graduate high school, or didn't go to high school in general, and like it's very common like for Hispanic parents to like finish school at like middle school, or like not go to school at all from poverty. And it's like super common. So it's like, if you don't have parents that didn't go to school, like they don't actually understand how stressful and how school actually is. Like, they just think it's something that everybody does and that it's not hard at all. But it's like, it really is. It's really stressful, and it's like it brings a whole nother level to like independence that for sure in every Hispanic community, and everybody in the Hispanic community knows that for school you're basically on your own for everything. To pay for school, to apply for FAFSA, to do your parents' taxes, like when they don't know how to read or write, like it brings a whole new difficulty, because you have to like, even as like an older sibling, you have to do it for your siblings as well. Like, it's not like you can just be done, because it's basically like you're like another parent to them.
Like, sometimes it gets a little annoying when parents say, you don't know the struggles that I face with, and we just make fun of it, like, oh, they cross like montañas, or like I crossed the border, but like it happened. And the weird thing is that like people say like, oh, you're overthinking it, like they didn't even do, like, dude, they were our age or even younger, basically fighting for their life, but not in like a war type of battle thing. Like, if they were arrested, they would have never have come here. They would have never had me. They would have I would have never had like them. I would have never had like anything. Basically, I wouldn't exist, because if he didn't go through all those struggles, if they didn't go through all like the battles that they had to face with, like, any day now I can get deported and reset my life all over again. And then, but it's not like a thing to overthink it.
But I feel like it's a thing in general that like that's the one thing that your parents will always use against you, and that's the most toxic
Like,
thing
you
a
don't know
parent
what
can
I
tell
went
you.
through. That's
Like, you
the
don't
big
know
question.
what I went through to get you here. You don't know what
That's
I
true,
went
don't.
through to do this for you. But it's like, once you choose to do something for you and for your family, you don't hold it against somebody, and you don't hold expectations to somebody for them to accomplish like so much greater things that they think that you could have done. I mean, it's like you can do so much for yourself. You can only do so much for yourself. But it's like when you don't have the support and you're being told that what you're doing isn't enough because of what they did to get you here, it's like not.
It's not.
It's
good.
not fair. It's a very toxic thing and it's a very common thing for Mexican parents to say to their children when they feel like they're not doing enough for them. It's like that's the one thing they use against them, that they brought them here, that they did. This isn't what they brought them here for. I feel like there's always that sense that you want to make your parents proud, but it's to a certain extent where if your family's using that against you, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it mentally drains you. It mentally drains you, and it motivates you, like you want to do the most for your family. But at the same time, it's like you're gonna get burnt the fuck out because if you don't have the support and you're doing it all by yourself, it's pointless for somebody to tell you that.
Like you feel like you're a failure.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing for me. That's like the worst feeling to ever be. Like, cause I respect them when they say, "I brought you. I came here to have a better life," and once they say that,
but it's another thing to sell them, like, if for them to use it against you and be like, if for something, for example, if it was something that you want to do and that your parents don't agree with, and it's something you like and your parents don't agree with, and then you say that, like, this is the one I brought you here for, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, but it's my life, it's my decisions, like, I'm responsible for myself now. But I feel like that's something Hispanics will never understand. Like, eventually, like, your kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna have they're gonna have to take care of themselves. So it's like they let you figure it out on your own, but they don't help you, but then they criticize you.
There is this movie with George Lopez and the lady that played the assassin of Selena. I don't know what the name is, but the plot goes everything that Laisha just said. Like, they brought her here to have a better life. They came here to have what they couldn't. And I totally respect that. Because the reason I'm saying this is when they say, I came here for a better life, once we turn like, for me, when my parents always say, like, I brought you here, I came here to have a better life. For me, I always say, okay, you brought me here, I'm old, I'm 18, I work for myself, I make my own money, I pay my own bills, even though it's not like paying fucking rent, you know, but it's still like bills that I have, like either my glasses, like I pay my contacts, which is a lot of fucking money for no reason, even with insurance. I pay my own stuff. For me, like, they find it rude when you talk back to them, or when you say,
but it's not even talking back.
It's not talking back.
It's like, in general, you disagreeing and you making your own opinions.
Yeah.
So you making your own opinions, you making your own statements, and they just find it disrespectful. Like, because everything they say is right and everything you're gonna say is wrong. Like, and they're never gonna see your point of view. They're always gonna find it offensive in any type of way. They're always gonna find it offensive. And they're always gonna say, well, you don't know because you're not old enough to understand or whatever. And but it's like,
yes, I do. You
don't grow up based on age. You grow up based on experience. And if your whole life you've been independent and doing shit on your own, then you're not the type. You shouldn't be judging somebody based on their actions or what they think or what they feel. Because it's not your place. If you're not gonna help, then it's not your place to say anything about it.
But in the moment, I want to tell them, like, straight up, stop worrying. Like, forget me. Like, not as a person, but, like, you guys know what I mean.
You're not responsible for me anymore, so don't worry about it.
I have my own life. I'm gonna grow up, which I don't want to do. Honestly, I don't want to grow up, but sadly, we all have to. We all have to settle down, find a place to live, get a car, get basically our own lives. But the thing is, like, we already have our own lives, and when I say forget about me, like, you can still worry about me, you can still disagree the choices that I make during my life, but it isn't bad to have my own opinion about stuff that I want to do. Like, hypothetically, if I want to go get a tattoo, if I want to go do drugs, if I want to go quit my job and go on a road trip by myself, I'm gonna do that. You're not gonna like it, you're not gonna agree with it, but it's something that, like, makes me happy. And I want Hispanic parents hearing this, or hopefully they're hearing this, like, your child is not gonna be the best version of yourself. They're gonna be like a mini me. But it's, if it I want them to think to themselves, if it makes them happy and I don't have to, like, provide for them anymore, but I can see them striving and being successful, like, let them. Like, this, what I'm doing is something that I love.
But I feel like you shouldn't want your kids to be you. You shouldn't want your kids to be a mini you at all. Your kid should be his or her own person.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever they want to be, whoever they want to grow up to be, whatever they want to grow up to do. Like, it's not your place to be like, I don't want you to do that because this doesn't earn enough money, or I don't want you to do this because then you have to go to school, or like make certain comments. That's just not okay. Because in general, your kids should make their own decisions. Your kids should decide what they want to do with their life, and if they don't have that figured out, then it's not your place to control. It's not your place to tell them when or how they're gonna get their life together. Cause why are you gonna cry?
Cause you're saying, like, the good, like, you're saying the stuff I want to say, but, like, in a perfect way. You're forming it perfectly. Like, you're answering all my questions.
I talk to myself a lot.
No, that's good. That's really good. So, it's like, you're basically saying, don't do this shit. Don't talk shit on them, because then they're gonna be depressed.
Yeah.
Like, if I paid attention to my parents, because the first thing they said is, like, why are you doing that? That I'm not, like, what she said, like, it's not gonna make you much money. Like, if I listen to my parents, and I've listened to, like, people have texted me, like, dude, like, why are you doing your YouTube channel? You only have, like, 30 subscribers. So, if I listen those people, I would be depressed. Yeah. I would be nowhere where I want to do. I wouldn't be basically doing the stuff that I want to do. I want to start a YouTube channel way before, but I didn't have the balls to do it because I kept hearing what people kept saying, like, negative shit, like, dude, it's not gonna make you much money, you're never gonna blow up, no one likes you, you're so annoying. Like, I would be like, oh, but, like, now, because I have her, I have Jasmine, I have Papas, I have
you have
a family, I have the support that I needed, because if it wasn't for them, I would have you guys wouldn't have, like, seen the way that I am as a person. You have never seen anybody of my friends that have been on my vlogs that guys can see, like, the support that they give me, and no one says negative things because they see me happy. And trust me, like, I have never been more happy. Well, I have been last year, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, I've never been this happy, like, doing shit like this. I finally have the money to provide the things that I've always wanted as a little kid, and as I've seen in the past, like, people doing what they love doing. So that's means a lot to me.
I think the weirdest thing about growing up is that eventually you have money for a lot of things that you never did when you were growing up. So, like, growing up, like, going to the store was very different from, like, you going to the store by yourself. It's two completely very different things. Crazy. I don't know if that made sense.
It is, like, because you know, but I feel like that you have the money to
and
buy
you
a bag of
provide
chips.
For yourself.
Buy a bag of chips. That's it. I don't have to ask for permission.
Yeah.
I don't have to, like, ask anybody's approval, like, if I can go. Like, if I have my own car, I have my own insurance, I have my own job, I can drive wherever the hell I want, you know? Because people don't have to worry about me. And that's what I want the norm. I hope the perspective of, like, Hispanic parents is gonna change, but sadly, I honestly feel like it isn't.
No. I feel like it's never gonna change unless we change it for ourselves.
Like, we have to... This sounds stupid, but you guys literally need to do this. Like, if you want Hispanic parents to change the way they act. You have to do shit
But then
that
it's
does
also
like with the rebellion.
Yeah, but then it's also like if you want your kids to grow up with a better
Life or future.
with a better like mentality, like you have to do it for you. Like you have to heal on your own. You have to heal from whatever you went through to try and get our community to a better place. Because if not, we're never gonna go anywhere.
We're never ever,
And it's never gonna change.
That's the crazy part about it.
Because you don't obviously like we changed because we don't want like our future generation to have like the problems that we had. We kind of chose to do this for ourselves to give a better life to our kids. We learned from their mistakes, which I feel like is good, but at the same time we should have never gone through the shit that we went through to understand that this isn't what is fair. This isn't how you parent somebody. And in general, I feel like a lot of, and not to sound like messed up or anything, but I feel like a lot of Hispanic parents didn't deserve to be parents. From the way that they parent, like I feel like everybody parents differently, and I'm not here to judge anybody's parenting, but at the same time, if you see your kid suffering and it's like not okay, and you're in a toxic like household, you understand that it's not fair, and it's very difficult to grow up like that, because then it's like you have to change for yourself and you only have yourself. So it's like, what are you supposed to do?
We're not saying cut off your whole family, okay? That's not what we're saying.
We are.
We're just saying like.
But I feel like no. The most toxic thing like in the Hispanic community is that just because they're family, we allow them to do more stuff that any stranger would do to you. You would immediately cut them off. Any friend, you would cut them off. Your family would tell you to cut them off. But if it's your family, it's your family, and you have to let it slide because it's your family. Like, no, that's not how things should work anymore, and we should grow up, because that's not fair. Just because they're your family doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. You can cut off anybody in your life because it's your life. You can choose to do whatever you want, and if that person is not having a good influence on your life, then you should cut them off, because you shouldn't have somebody in your life who's going to be negative about anything you do. You're never going to get anywhere allowing toxic people to come back into your life.
Yes. I feel like that's the hardest part growing up, because you realize that when you have your family, you see their other side that other people don't see. And I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing, but I'm saying it's like a different perspective that when people like meet them, like when people meet your parents or when people meet you, they first see your first impression, and I believe that first impressions are like not as important, but they will allow other people to see you as you. And then when they get to know you better, you start inviting them, you're starting going out, they see like, oh, like I don't like surrounding myself with them, I'm just gonna cut them off, stop texting them and doing everything. But if I like them, then I'm gonna hang out with them, I'm gonna know their family a little more, I want them to tell me their life story and everything that they've been going through. And it's something to not like be ashamed of, because everybody has their own demons, everybody has their own problems and struggles that they go through. And I definitely have like stuff that I'm not proud of my family going through and me being there, but it happened, and experiences always have an effect when you're growing up, because it's like when you see your parents talk bad about, you know, like regañando a tus like hermanos or hermanas, or screaming at your tíos or stuff like that, you're like, shit, is this normal? Is this how I want to treat my kids? And it's not, I'm not saying that it's like shaming the way that your parents are parenting you, but I'm saying it's like...
It is, because I feel like people are so scared to shame other parents for how they parent their kids, but at the end of the day, like, people are never gonna grow. People are never gonna learn if you never tell them anything. People are never gonna understand that's not okay if you don't tell them that that's not okay.
Like, they're gonna not... no one's ever gonna know how your family really is.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you tell your parents, like, hey...
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. But I feel like no matter like if what you tell your parents, like however you feel about a certain situation, a certain topic, you tell them like, hey, this is not okay for you to tell me this. Like, I don't feel good when you tell me this. I don't feel happy. Like, I feel sad. Like, that's disappointing to me that my parent is telling me this. Because that's like your only support system growing up, is all you have is your family. Or if you don't have family, then all you have is yourself. But obviously you don't want to hear that from your family, you know? So it's like when you don't agree with something that your family says, if you are in the Hispanic community, like, no matter how you tell them how it makes you feel, like, nothing, anything you say, they don't care. They really don't care. They genuinely, I guarantee you, they don't care, because they're older and they know and they understand and they've been through more than we have. But I don't know, it's so toxic.
It's crazy.
They're always gonna be like, they're always gonna say, pues tú no entiendes, tienes que madurar para saber. But it's like, at some point they have to realize that we are mature and that we are independent, that we do know what we're talking about from what we're going through.
Yes, they see you overlooking all the fucking time. Like, I understand when people say like, oh, I don't like cutting people off because I'm scared. Like, dude, being scared is what's holding you back. Like, I have a friend that is really scared for its future because it doesn't want to cut off their support system. And it's not like, I understand you grew up with your family, you've been through the ups and downs, you've been through the terrible side, the happy side, and when they make the argument like, but they have been there, like, for me that changes everything, because then like when you're talking about them, like giving good advice, you're like, oh shit, how am I supposed to like counter that, or how am I supposed to like tell them something else? Like they have been there, but it's from their perspective that they've been there. You don't know how actually they have been there for them. You don't know if it could have, because people don't see red flags. People love to fucking ignore the red flags in people. They love to ignore the red flags in people because people surround themselves, I don't know, I feel like people fantasize a lot about what their life could be and how things could be, to the point where they ignore all the red flags in a person just because they want the good. They want to see how it turns out. But then at the same time, it's like you can't ignore every red flag that they give you. Like, your family can be supportive sometimes and then they can talk shit about you the other times. Like, or they can say something negative all the time to you but be supportive. But you don't really know how supportive those people can be towards your friend. You don't know how supportive those people are being, because if they really supported her, then they would have supported her in doing whatever she wanted to do or whatever he wanted to do. So it's like, if at that point they're gonna be supportive of what you want to do, then they're not supportive people, point blank period. Then cut them off. If they're not gonna support what you want to do, they're not gonna support your happiness, and it's like not like a stupid obvious decision, then they don't support you, then cut them off. Like, then it's not worth it for you to surround yourself with those people that, and pause your whole life, career, whatever the fuck you want to do, for no reason at all, besides for people who are not going to support you in anything that you want to do. There's no point in that. Yeah, I know it's scary because they're your family and you don't want to like talk shit or like be scared, but remember, if you do, it will be a blessing that you cut those toxic people from your life, because then you will get to move on. Like, you'll be moving a huge ass rock in the road and continuing on with your life. It's gonna hurt. It's definitely gonna hurt. You can cry all you want, but you eventually have to move on. And when people talk about moving on, for me, it's like it's for everybody. It might be like super hard to get over or super easy, but honestly, remember that it's gonna be the greatest thing that you have ever done in your entire life. But I feel like people tend to move on by just ignoring the whole thing. That's not what we're talking about. Ignoring the whole problem and just walking away from it. That's not how you move on. No, you have to like actually like face your feelings and feel everything and go through the worst
for you to like understand why you needed to go through the hurt to like get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm okay. Like this, I understand why this happened. I understand why these people let me down. Like, I move on from it. You have to move on for yourself, though. You have to heal for yourself because you can't heal for other people because those other people are not gonna feel the hurt. Nobody else is gonna feel the hurt besides you. You have to feel the hurt in order to move on and heal from things.
Do you feel like that's why it's hard to fall in love?
I don't feel like it's hard to fall in love. I feel like you fall in love with people because of who they are, because of what they show you,
100%.
because of what they do for you. And if a person doesn't do shit for you, then move the fuck on. Leave.
Yes.
Leave, because people don't change. People don't change.
They really
People do not
I haven't
change.
dated anyone, and trust me, they do not.
I understand people that say like, hey, some people could change. They might be right. I've never met somebody that has changed. Ever. Deep down, that person is always going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like, unless something like traumatic happens to them and like they realize like, hey, this is my mistake. Like, let me not do this again so it doesn't get done to me.
Like, prove it.
Like, unless people get their karma, then that's when people will change. But people will not change solely based on how they feel. Men ain't shit. That's what I'm gonna say.
Period.
And
does it have like high expectations?
I don't
for you?
know. Back to your question, like I feel like it's not hard to fall in love with somebody. Like if the feeling, like if you're meant to fall for that person, you're gonna automatically feel it. You're gonna automatically know, like, hey, like this is something, because you don't like just when you meet somebody and you vibe with that person, like there's something there. But if you meet somebody, you have a conversation with somebody, and it was like boring, it's like obviously you're not gonna click with them. You're not gonna fall in love with them.
Yeah, like seeing.
Like you just know when you're gonna fall in love with somebody. You just know. That's literally all I'm gonna say.
I feel like seeing your best friend going through someone I don't know how people like do this, but I totally believe that people can sense other people's vibes, or like their best friend can sense like, dude, cut him off right now because I already know the person, and then they're like, you don't even know how you like, dude, just trust me.
I feel like low-key,
I know how they are. I know how they're gonna do you dirty. Cut them off right now. And when they don't listen to you, I hate it when they say I'm right, but because I already knew I was right. But you don't want to see them like struggle. Not struggle. Fuck struggle.
Like you can already see what they're gonna go through. You're gonna automatically feel what they're gonna go through. You're gonna automatically know what the fuck they're gonna go through, and you're just like, no, cut them off. But I feel like that's where me and Junior are very alike, though. We're both empaths. We're both empaths for sure.
For me, I
don't know if you guys believe in that shit, but I believe in that shit because honestly, I've connected.
I don't.
I've had so many connections with people where like I've literally been with them just for them to heal, and I'm just like, okay, what about me?
Like that.
In every situation, it's been like, well, okay, what about me? What about me? What about me? You know, like I've always been the type of person to be there for everybody. I've always been the type of person to like.
Being a yes man, like
I've always been that person that goes with somebody like through everything and like supports you through anything and loves you through anything.
But you don't really like.
But it's always one sided. It's always one sided because I feel like I attract people who are not there, who are not emotionally there at all, just for me to become their fucking therapist and fucking dip after. Whatever. Anyways, we're moving on from that.
For real.
I don't know. I hate being an empath sometimes. I feel like it fucks with a lot of your relationships, your friendships and relationships. But it's also like a good thing. Yeah. It's also a good thing because you tend to stay away from people that are intentionally trying to hurt you. But people use the fuck out of you. If you're an empath, you know that people use the fuck out of you. For sure.
Like they want to know, like
they'll use the fuck out of you.
Like I'm not saying I'm a fucking sidekick.
No, those are two completely different things, though. Being an empath is like you being able to feel somebody else's emotions, you being able to empathize for other people. Like because you will be that person to be there for them through anything. That's what makes you an empath. That's what makes you like
a good friend,
a good person, a good girlfriend, whatever, a good wife. You know, like those are the people that you want to have around your life. But then at the same time, you don't want to take advantage of those people and use those people, because those people are going to be the people that are there for you through anything.
They're going to be like your
You don't want to use those people, because once you lose them, that's it. They're not going to ever want to talk to you or speak to you again. Because if you use them, it emotionally affects them that they have been used.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make them like, hey, this person used me, I'm not going to do that again.
Okay.
I feel like
that's really true.
Yeah, because I feel like when you empathize with people, like you in a way you hurt yourself when that person is hurting. So if that person is hurting, like you'll feel hurt for them, and you'll feel hurt yourself. And that's why a lot of people get drained by other people's energies, because they use them.
Yes.
Dude, it's getting hot.
You're so true.
It's getting hot.
You can open the...
I did open the window. Can you turn on the fan?
I can't find the switch.
I
think it's in the bed somewhere. Because I didn't come in here all
I'm
day.
not gonna look for it here. I'm just gonna...
But she's gonna step out so she can help turn on the fan. Yeah, it's gonna be somewhere on the bed. But... what was I gonna say? Damn, I forgot. I forgot what I was gonna say. What were you just talking about?
I don't know.
Here. I had it. Oh! What she said about bringing people down. Like, I have a scared reality that once... because I've seen a lot of, like, TikTok videos, and I'm that person to, like, see documentaries when they're really bored. And I saw a psychology video, like 2 weeks ago. No, actually, last week on a Friday. And basically the point was to not let people bring you down. And the reason for that is because they haven't done it because, like, they're not like that. They're, like, perfect the way they are. But I feel like in another universe, or another time, that if they said, like, oh, you guys are in the club, you're having fun, and they're like those TikToks that say, like, oh, you're too loud, or dude, you're so annoying, like, they say stuff like that and it just brings you down and it kills your vibe. I don't know if that relates to, like, what she said, but it's really scary because, like, if you're having fun, they might not know that you've been, like, struggling, and that's, like, the day that you look forward to come. Like, here, I come every Wednesday because I love hanging out with them, because, like, they're always there for me, and they always, like my ideas. They might think I'm stupid, and I am. Trust me, I am. But, like,
sometimes.
It's the best feeling in the world when you go somewhere and you look forward to going there like, I don't care if the world is ending tomorrow, I will be there tomorrow, the same exact time. We can just hang out and do absolutely nothing. But the perspective of surrounding yourself with people that just care about you so much is the people that haven't had that in their entire life. Like, when she said Hispanic parents, like, or parents in general, never say you're proud of you, it makes a huge difference. I've seen a video of a little kid titled "The Difference of You Being There and You Saying You're Gonna Try to Be There." When he saw his parents, he started jumping.
I saw that video.
I love that video.
Talking about
the little kid.
where he sees his his mom. Looking around for his mom, and like he's like so like sad. He looks so sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But like his mood completely changes like as soon as he sees his mom in the crowd like that. Like, he's that's the difference.
Super happy.
No, like, again,
it makes
to bring
a difference, guys.
Again, to bring up, like, the Hispanic community, like, it makes a huge difference being there and, like,
saying you're
like, it's a whole other thing to be like, oh, yeah, I'm a mom of, like, these many kids, of, like, oh, I'm a mom. It's very different to be like, hey, I'm a mom, hey, I'm a dad, and, like, parent your kid.
Mm-hmm.
But then not be there for him. If you're not gonna show up for your kid, that's not being a parent. Yes. If you don't show up for your kid is gonna assume that they don't have anybody. Your kid is gonna grow up to be alone. because they're gonna grow up independent, and later on
Like
they're
what
not
we
gonna
said,
care.
guys.
They're not gonna care. They're really not gonna care for you.
They're gonna be
not
like-
gonna care because you were
Oh, it
never
didn't
there.
even
You were never
matter.
there for them, so they're not gonna be there for you. So when you're old and you have nobody to
It's
take care of
gonna
you, your
hurt you
kid,
like
it's
a
gonna
bitch.
hurt you to see that your kids don't really care about you. But that's on you for not taking care of your kids. That's
Like,
on you
it-
for not being there for your kids.
It makes a huge difference, guys. Like when I say it makes just saying how was your day, it shows that someone truly cares about you, because you have no idea if they work like in a if they work like in a corporate job or an office, and they've been going through files, they've been signing contracts, they've been going through shit all day, but for them to remember you specifically and asking how was your day when they've been having a bad day, dude, like that, for I can guarantee right now, I'm saying this right now,
A lot of
when my little kid sees this video, I will never ever take my job as serious as being a parent. I will never do that. You will always
feel
be
like
my number one.
that's parents being an excuse though. Like, hey, I can't get out of work. I'm working. Like
fuck,
I
will quit my
understand that.
job.
I
fuck that.
understand that, but there's a certain extent to where you should let your job
Take-
allow you to not become a
overlap
parent.
your,
Like, being a parent should be the most important
It
part
is,
of your
period.
life. Like, your kid will not care if, like, he goes, like, if you struggle, like, from losing your job for being there for your kid,
You're
like,
oh, I need to pay this.
I don't know what parents would want
That's
to not be there for
scary.
their kids and prioritize their job. Like, I get it. Like, you could need the money for it, but then at the same time, is it really worth, like, hurting your kid? Because
Missing
that's
an
what
assembly?
you're doing. Like,
No.
all you're doing is hurting your kid. It could be one small assembly, and that could mean the whole entire world to your kid.
Yes, my little
Like,
boy,
to
my
you, it
little
could
girl.
not mean anything. To you, it could just be this small little thing that they're not even gonna remember because they're young. But your kid
Aw.
remembers. Your kid remembers. Your kid remembers seeing you never there when they were little. Your kid is always gonna remember and always gonna feel.
They're
that
always
you were
gonna
never
bring it
there.
back, like when they have their like own family or like their own friends. Be
Like, when they don't
"Ha,
have
ha, ha,
pictures.
I remember. Oh wait.
When
you
they
weren't
have
there.
awards, when they get
Boom.
awards, when they were little, like, hey, I don't remember this. I don't have pictures of this. Like, they're not gonna have anything to like have
No.
memories if you're never there. If you're never gonna be. I don't know why people
Like-
are parents. Like, it honestly pisses me off that some people can just be parents and decide not to be there for their kid.
Some like, I love it when like my parents or like my grandma keep stuff since I was a kid. Even a
Yeah.
stupid finger turkey. The fact that they kept it, not because they wanted to make a memory, but because it like made their day. They're like, they made it for me, and I want to show them when they grow older. Like, I kept the stuff. I care about you. Saying
Like,
I love you.
You
It's
don't even
the most
remember
important
it. You don't even remember creating the stupid fucking rooster, whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
the fucking turkey.
But the
fact
fact that they kept it is
yeah,
so amazing. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
like, it warms your heart to think that somebody who cared about you, regardless
Yeah,
of
much.
like if you even remember or not.
It makes a huge difference.
We
I
need to
love it.
end
But
this
I can
because
never.
you already have like 40 minutes of footage. Do you know that?
One more.
No, that's not enough. You're gonna do a 40-minute podcast?
This is the end. Thank you guys for watching. This is the most engaging one we have been in.
I don't really talk, but I
No,
talk
it was a
lot.
good podcast. If you guys like it, don't forget to like,
I
comment,
think,
share, and subscribe.
honestly, I think people are gonna hate me for hating on Hispanic parents, but it's okay.
Who is?
I don't know. People who, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are gonna comment that you shouldn't comment on Hispanic parenting if you're not a parent, and I'm not a parent. And I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate on the fact that I'm not a parent, so they don't. They probably think that I don't know.
Well,
what the heck I'm
technically,
saying.
guys, we weren't
But
talking shit.
the hate comes with this shit, so it's worth it. I don't really care.
I don't
give
really
a fuck.
care. I can delete that. I'm like, I can delete
I
that.
don't really care. I don't really care what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
I've been like, this is
That's
my
how we
world.
are, guys.
You just live in it.
Ah.
This is
Some petty
really,
shit.
this is really my world. Then you really just live in it. Everybody lives in their own world. Whoever tells you no is lying to you. You live your own world. You live your best life, and you love yourself.
Period.
And you go to the gym and get a fat ass.
Like me.
Hearts.
Ah. Bye.
We're out.